end all be all, it comes down to most companies don't even make any of this data available to a regular person. At least Amazon is making some of it available to you to make your life a little bit easier. And if you go onto another platform and try to sell, they're going to have tools that are going to try and help you to find profitable products, but none of the tools are going to work quite as good as the Amazon tools do. Not because the software developers for the tools on Amazon are better or anything like that. It just simply comes down to Amazon makes more data available to them so they can help you to make a better decision than the other platforms. The other thing I would talk about with advantages to selling on Amazon is that comparatively to the other selling platforms, and I'm going to specifically use eBay in this situation because probably they are the second largest independent retailer type model marketplace compared to Amazon. Please don't email me and tell me I'm wrong on that. Maybe Walmart has taken over that title, or, well, actually, I believe Shopify has taken over that title, but I think that's very vague because Shopify is not at all what Amazon and eBay are. But we're going to just compare Amazon and eBay for a second. And the simplicity of listing to the Amazon platform is a very unique feature of Amazon and is one of the most underrated advantages to Amazon. So the reason how I say that is that with Amazon, when you're listing products, unless the product does not currently exist on Amazon in any form, you are not responsible for taking pictures. You are not responsible for providing product details. You're not responsible for doing. Basically, when you list on eBay, you get this blank canvas, and you have to sit down and develop everything to sell that product on eBay, which in many ways could be an advantage because it allows you to tailor it and be more eye-grabbing to a buyer. But when you're selling used books, there's not a whole lot you can do. A book is a book, and when a customer goes to look for a book, they're not looking for that book with that extra perk to it. They're just looking for the book they need to read. And so there's not a whole lot you can do to really differentiate yourself from other sellers. And from that sense, it more or less book selling is kind of a one-off thing where you throw it up on the market and you just hope that you come along and you're the right price for the buyer at that point in time, and that buyer buys your book. And Amazon has streamlined their listing processes to make it very, very easy to list an item like that, where there isn't a lot of customization you need to do. There's not a lot you need to tell your customer about it. It's just a book. And so with the Amazon platform, you can literally sit down and list hundreds of books in an hour. If you're using some of the listing software that's out there, it's literally a one scan. You scan the barcode on the book, you type in a price, you hit submit, and that item goes up to Amazon. Whereas on the flip side, if you were doing something like an eBay, once again, you have to do all this customization. They have all these different things they need to know, all these specific criteria about selling about that item that they need to know for you to be able to list that item. And it takes what might take you 5 seconds on Amazon to list will take you 35 to 40 seconds to list on eBay. And when you're getting to the point in your business where you're scaling and you're selling literally thousands and thousands of items in a month, and you're bringing in pallets of inventory, and you have to prep all that to ship it into Amazon, just imagine in your mind where you could list one item in 5 seconds, or you can list one item in 30 seconds. How much more efficient the process that Amazon has developed is comparatively to the system that eBay has developed. And I think that's not something that's often talked about. And it's very important for you to think about that, because while you are giving up some things with the process that they do, what they always say about Amazon sellers is Amazon sellers are kind of invisible on Amazon, where most people, when they go and they buy a book from you, they don't even realize they're buying the book from you. They just know that they're buying a book from Amazon and it's going to come to them. And a lot of times they might even be surprised when it comes and it's like, oh, this is some guy named Roy's return address on this book, because they don't even realize they're buying it from an independent seller. So it's very granular. It's very like Amazon's trying to hide the fact that they're allowing people to sell product on there. But because they do that, it makes your process of listing so much faster, so much quicker, and it allows you to scale your business so much faster with less labor intensive work and things like that. So, and I think that's a huge advantage to Amazon that most people don't talk about when they talk about the advantages of Amazon. The final one that I'll talk about, we're going to go much deeper into this in future episodes, is going to be the buy box. And what the buy box is if you've ever bought an item on Amazon, you will notice that when you go to the product page, there's always one that you can just throw into your cart right there. And there's typically, if it's on a book, it's usually got a new one and a used one that you can just throw into your cart. If you want to look at all the available options, you have to find the link to click on to go and look at all the available options from all the different people. And eBay and other platforms don't, what they say about the buy box is that pretty much 80% of the sales that Amazon gets just throws through the buy box. And the reason for that is because people are lazy. They go, they find their product. They're not even caring. As long as they'll look at the price of the one that's in the buy box, and if they like the price, they'll buy it. Done. Move on with their life. And so they say that 80% of the sales on eBay or on Amazon flow through that buy box. And one of the huge advantages of that is that in the early days of selling on Amazon, you couldn't even leverage that. That buy box was always owned by Amazon. And if Amazon didn't have the item in stock, that buy box went away. Now they're being more fair with it, and they're allowing everybody to compete over that buy box. And by competing over that buy box and you win that buy box, it can drive significant sales to your items. So just the idea of having the ability to get the buy box is a huge advantage to any Amazon seller. I will tell you that there's going to be gurus out there that are going to tell you that they have cracked the code on how to win you the buy box every time. And we will cover this more in that buy box episode, but don't fall for these schemes. The buy box is designed as an algorithm that Amazon does not share with anybody, so nobody's supposed to know how the buy box is calculated and how you win. If there is somebody that comes along and says, I have cracked the buy box code and I can win you the buy box every time, they may have done it. But as quickly as they sell you a service that's going to win you the buy box every time, Amazon is going to change that whole algorithm around, and they're not going to be able to win the buy box for you anymore. So it's important to understand what the buy box is, and then it leads to more sales for you. But my encouragement to anybody, especially if you're getting into the used book sector, is don't worry about winning the buy box. Worry about sourcing good products, and the buy box will just naturally happen for you. But on the sense of what's the good about selling on Amazon, the buy box is a huge one, because if you can strategically get yourself where you're sourcing a strong, good books that Amazon wants, and you get in the buy box more, it's just going to lead to more sales. And it doesn't cost you anything more to be in the buy box. It's just basically Amazon says, hey, yeah, we think you should have the buy box. So with that, I think we'll wrap this episode up, as I kind of just outlined some of the benefits of selling on Amazon. I'll come back in the next episode, and we'll give you some of the downsides, some of the things that I don't like about selling on Amazon. And something you'll hear me preach a lot as we go through on this podcast is that I highly encourage anybody that's starting down the Amazon road to be looking at methods to have revenue coming in from other sources than Amazon. And I want to talk a little bit about that, because I think that's one of the biggest traps that most Amazon sellers, as they progress through their business, fall into, is that they say, well, I'm making all this money from Amazon,